Hello everyone, my name is Svetlana Film001. I'm a Russian sculptress living and working in the UK. From here I will be teaching you sculpture for next 15 sessions. Let's talk about me and from where I came. I was studying in Russia and the UK. I started with drawing and painting when I was 10. I was developing this deep love for arts, all kinds of arts, until I became 18 and stepped into my first university, where I was discovering more about ceramic and learning about sculpture. I was born in 1977, and my parents, they are not artists, my family not artistic at all. And I discovered my profession by myself when I was age 10. I discovered nearby an art studio. It was a magical, absolutely magical moment when I entered the studio and I smell and see, and suddenly, unexpectedly, I realized it's my path. And I joined at that moment, age of 10, Soviet Union local art studio, and I will be learning not just skills there and probably less skills, but more how to love art, how to discover myself through these tools and instruments. I find art very body involving. Funny enough, before I found my art path at age of 10, I was doing a lot of gymnastics, so I was working with my body anyway. Just from age 10, I'm using mostly my hands and my imagination. But imagination came later. Firstly skills, firstly hard work. When I was age 15, I was doing at least 3 hours per day, learning human body, human head, and drawing each single day. I really enjoy that time, not thinking about money, not thinking about institutes and future profession, just enjoying myself. I found it by choosing joy, by choosing what I love to do. I find art a very body-connected thing. We use with our hands and with our mind, with our spirit. We're expressing our inside, moving from inside to outside. Imagination, movement, inspiration, action, production. We will see all different stages. Your image comes from inside, and after that, you are creating a real body of work with your hands. When I became 18, I entered my first university and started learning about sculpture and about ceramic. So I finished my first university with my first MA in 2000 in Moscow. I was really experienced in ceramic, sculpture, and got my MA in interior design. I'm moving in 2003 more into sculpture, and I start developing my new skills based on, for sure, drawing and painting. Simultaneously, I was learning about etching and was practicing on metal, creating my first etchings, which went into Hermitage Museum collection later on. In 2004, I got my first prize for Best Female Sculptress of Russia. In 2006, I went to my first French residency in Cité des Arts. After that, I got this grant 5 times and was quite often working in Paris. In 2006, the same year as my first French residency, I am moving permanently into the UK and starting my second MA in University of the Arts London, Camberwell. I finished it successfully in 2007, and I was in best, they have strange number 36, best students of 5 universities, 5 colleges of University of the Arts. So it was nice, busy artistic life, plenty of exhibitions, traveling around the world with my projects. So at the end I got 2 MAs, and I can compare Russian art education and English art education, and it's completely different, I have to say. In Russia, your teachers really pressing you and squashing you, and you feel under the pressure. In English university, first months it was really difficult for me because I was waiting for teachers to approach me, to tell me what to do, and it took at least 3 months to discover this total freedom, which is full of opportunities. Student talks, libraries, events. It's really rich and interesting. Hello everyone! Today I will introduce you a sculpting course which will consist of 16 sessions. Our first one mostly theoretical, from 2nd through to 6th. We will build 2 simple floral reliefs out of plasticine. During sessions 6 and 9, we will be learning about how to make a skull from clay, and we will be adjusting to new sculpting techniques working with clay. And our final stage and primary target will be creating a portrait, which we will create from session 10 through to session 16. We will be working again with plasticine. At the end of these 6 sessions, we will take 2-part mold and fill it with clay. So we have 3 different materials: plasticine, plaster, clay, and we have 3 subjects: simple relief, skull, and final big project, life portrait. So during simple relief we are creating with plasticine, taking plaster mold, skull, most dedicated, these 3 sessions dedicated to learning process. We are working with soft clay and enjoying learning and adjusting our new skills. And our final project, portrait, we will combine all our knowledge there. We will create a beautiful plasticine portrait. We will take plaster 2-part mold and we will fill it with clay to create a final product. Hello everybody, today we're visiting Eve Shepherd Art Studio. She's amazing English artist, sculptress. Here we are, Eve Shepherd. Hello. If we're surrounded by these beautiful pieces, could you tell us a bit about your art, about your inspiration?
I could. I do kind of 3 different types of work. There's a commission work that I work on, and that could be portraits, or it could be that people come to me directly and want my style of a piece of work, which is like a piece that I'm working on at the moment, which is based on Bernini's work and my style. So that's an amalgamation. So that's one leg of what I do. The other leg is that I make some work called the Bozzetto work, which I've called it the Bozzetto work, just to make it clearer for me.
Yeah, it's not
Bozzetto is, I might be pronouncing it incorrectly, but apparently it's Italian for three-dimensional sketch.
Okay.
So it's another word for maquette.
Three-dimensional sketch?
Yeah.
Is it a relief? Or?
No, it's just a three-dimensional sketch.
Aha, quite quick sculpture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it could be a maquette as well.
Okay.
So it's the sculptor's way of sketching.
Aha, any material.
Any material.
Yeah. Okay.
So I call that work Bozzetto, and that work behind you is Bozzetto. It's a good example, and they're generally made in ceramic, and and whatever materials. Sometimes I'll mix stuff into the clay, and it'll make it very textured, and then it'll burn out in the firing. And they can be quite psychologically based pieces. They could be based on. A lot of people think that they're mythological, but they're actually not. They're more psychology, philosophy. And then there's another load of work that I do called the white work, which I don't have any examples of, but it's more anatomically accurate, smoother, finished, more lifelike. But generally, I use repetition. So I'll use a mold, and I'll get maybe 9, 10, 12 pieces, identical pieces out of the same mold. It's not in that sense.
Okay.
It's the repetition. So they're all. I might get 9 casts.
Okay.
And I'll utilise them
Bronze.
to make a geometric form.
Okay.
And then that's the piece, and then that piece will be additioned.
There are different methods how to sculpt. Sometimes we always need this visual example which we are copying in our own manner. But some masters, as Rodin, for example, one of the biggest French sculptors, he did a lot of nude bodies, and his preferences was to look at them for long But during creation process, he was always alone. He was memorizing it and sculpting in his own pace, without any models around, just did it quietly, because the process of creating sculpture, it's very deep inside of you. You are linking to your deepest levels, and you're expressing you're making not just a copy of something, skull or flower, you're expressing your own feelings. It's a combination of your life experience, yourself, and this particular example which you are copying. What does it mean to be an artist for you?
Good question. What does it mean to be an artist? From a practical perspective, it's hard work. I think being a sculptor is very hard work.
Agreed.
Yes. I think you've got to have such a broad base of knowledge, of from the practical side of things, the making of it, the craft side, and also the more sort of anatomical. If you're doing figurative stuff, you have to know about anatomy, you have to know about physiology, and then beyond that, then you've also got to sort of develop your voice, which it can take years. So once you're fluid in the other two things, the practical and the anatomy, you've then got to go on and find your own way of speaking. So it can take a long time to develop that. What does it mean to be an artist? It's when I really think about it, it can be a real privilege. It doesn't feel like that every day in the studio, sometimes, but it's a real privilege because, I feel like I can speak a language which is international, and so, it's vast, and also as well, I come from a perspective of there's some of the work I think either needs to speak and needs to be seen. And I also think that there's some of the work that I do, certain individuals need to see it, for various reasons. So that's why I keep getting back into the studio and keep producing the work, because I feel like it's necessary, not only for me, because it keeps me happy. It also, I think there's a purpose
of
beyond
your life, probably.
Yeah.
To be seen, to be heard, and
yeah.
So, in other words, you're a public person.
Yes, you're a public person, but I think underneath all that, it's about speaking in a really an archaic language, an old ancient, especially this sort of work. It's
visual
timeless.
Art, you mean visual art?
Yes, but particularly sort of figurative sculpture. It's been done from the dawn of time.
Absolutely. And
right up to present day, and so there's a vein, I think, that runs through the human psyche, that we understand this stuff on a deeper level. We might not be able to articulate it, and that's why you can speak from this level to somebody else's this deep stuff, without saying a word, because it's all embedded within the work.
Let's talk about a relief. We will deal with high and low relief. In modern Western world, we combine them to get a sense of a depth. But in ancient times, very often they use them separately. For example, ancient Greece using mostly high relief when big masses step out of background, sometimes completely free from background. And ancient Egypt using low relief. And you will see good examples in big pyramids and other Egyptian palaces. We're back in Eve Shepherd's studio, so let's ask her more questions and to get deeper knowledge about sculpture itself. Hello.
Hello.
Let's talk today about your materials, which you love, which you don't like, which you use normally or rarely. I see this beautiful relief here. Could you guide us which materials you used and why?
This relief is made out of porcelain. And I made it because it's very fine, so you can get quite fine detail, and I also like the whiteness of it, though I've kind of taken this back a little bit. I like the whiteness, and I found that I usually sculpt female form in porcelain, in something white. I think it shows the form off nicer. So yeah, and then obviously onto this. This is reclaimed timber. So you've got the contrast of very dark, which I've kind of darkened here. So you've got this gradation from the wood to the dark to this, just to draw your eye in really. And you've also got the texture. So I kind of like the control over this, the modelling of this, quite tight control with very tiny modelling tool, and then you've kind of got the free range of how this wood is weathered, totally uncontrolled. So yeah, so it varies. I use all different kinds of modelling materials.
During next session, we will start to build our first sculpture. It will be single floral relief. I will use an orchid. You can use any flower as you wish. So we will use basic sculpture materials and we will learn sculpting skills. So how to use materials, how to use tools, what is it, you will see during our next session.